Yo, what's up? This is Ipos Audio. My name is Liam Dawson, and right now I'm going to do this beat making tip tutorial. So just to start out, I've got a couple of different playlists on my YouTube channel. I've got vlogs, and then I've got native instruments, massive tutorials. This is going to be on a different playlist. This video is going to be on a different playlist, and that playlist is going to be essentially beat making and production, um, tips or something along those lines. Um, so yeah, right now I'm going to show you some basic ideas and theory behind arrangement. Now, there are lots of different schools of thought on how to arrange your tracks. Um, and it varies. Like if you're an EDM producer, you usually make tracks that are, you make them into sections so that they can be mixed um, in a DJ set. So there's certain sections, people can pick the beginning of the song or like the middle part after a breakdown or something like that. Um, so there's that idea of thought. This, I'm going to be showing you more song structure, like when you make a beat for an artist to rap and sing a hook on. That's essentially what this is going to be about. So yeah, let me open up one of my instrumentals. And this is really basic. This instrumental, I keep it super simple. I might add some more synths and a couple of different layers, but I keep it real bare bones, so that it can be filled up with more vocals and be more vocal centric. For like certain EDM tracks, there might be some vocals in there, but the drop, you just want you want to fill out the different frequencies. But for an instrumental, for like verses and hooks and things like that, you kind of want to, for a song, you want to leave the mid high range kind of open. Leave that space there for the vocal to sit on there nicely. You don't want the vocal to be mudded out. So yeah, let me just play through this instrumental, and then I'll go in and break down what the different sections are. SMKU. My personal critique, it's a little boring, but I feel as though if a rapper went hard on it and brought the fire, that would like just ignite the whole thing, because I feel as though the vibe is there, but then just high energy rapping would, I don't know, that would bring it up to par, I think. But yeah, it's a little boring. I might need to add some more layers and a little bit of like differences, but but yeah. So let me go through here. Like right here, this beginning part, I'll label them. This is intro. Oh, whoops. Intro. So this is the synth. I'm also going to break down. This is not only going to be an arrangement video, but it's also going to be like show you the synths. Let me show you the synths at the end. That's how I'm going to do it. So right here, this is the intro. Yeah, it's just a really simple synth sound with a good, like, got a vibe, you know. Then a little snare fill, and then right here is when we begin the first verse. So that's the first verse. Now, if we look at this, let's go by bars. Okay, so it's set to bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is 16 bars, 16 bar verse. All right. I'll play through it. There's a little bit of, I pull some stops basically, like cut out some of the drums for a second, and then add a little, like change up the snares. And then I do something similar here, but with this shot instead. Like, yeah, you'll hear the difference, I guess. This spot, this is the first chorus. And for the chorus, the drums, I add a crash in the drum rack, and then I also add this lead synth. Here, this is the second chorus. I mean the second verse. In structure, it's the same thing as the first verse. Same thing goes for this second chorus. So we got intro, verse, chorus, and then right here, after the chorus, there's a breakdown, which could also be a bridge as well. So we've got, let me do breakdown slash bridge. So we'll go from the chorus. just the melody synth and the bass. Something interesting to note, so these two synths right here are the exact same synth, but these ones down here or up here in blue, they're an octave down. These ones here on this channel, these ones are an octave up. So yeah, and you can hear it after the chorus that it drops down and gives it. So it's, I think that's what makes it a good breakdown. I don't know, it sort of drops the mood or something like that, you know, and pulls out all the drums. Same as the first and the second. So this is all like basically, you know, the canvas. It's the canvas for the flow. And then we've got the chorus comes in again. The choruses are all 8-bar choruses. The verses are 16-bar. These are 8-bar. So it's kind of a tight chorus, you know. It's good if it's super repetitive, that it's smaller, you know. And then we got an outro. If the chorus was like 16 bars, it'd be better if it was less repetitive, you know. Since it's a tight one, you can do something repetitive without being annoying. But if it's longer, you want something that's got a little bit more substance to it, I guess, and rhyme and length and clarity of image. So yeah, here we go. We've got our intro, 8 bars, verse. The verse, we take the intro synth and put it up an octave. We add bass and drums. Then change things up every 8 bars. After 16 bars, we do the chorus, add a crash to the drums, then add a lead sound to play over the bass melody bed. Then after we sort of cut things out and make a little space before we transition back into the verse for 16 bars. You can do variations on your verses if you like. This one's just super like run-of-the-mill, simple. We've got the chorus, breakdown and a bridge. We drop back into that lower synth, pretty much pull out all the instrumentation with a couple of little snare rolls or something like that. A third verse, third chorus, and then an outro. This particular song is at 112 BPM. So yeah, now we're going to open up the track and go in under the hood, and I'm going to show you how I made each of the sounds. All right. So this sound, this would be a melody bed. This is low. So let's open up the massive. So first thing I'm going to look at is the envelope 4. The attack's been taken out, and that means that the decay is now inverted and becomes the attack. It's got a smooth curve and kind of a medium release. It's on gate. Yeah, so that's envelope 4. We're going to move up into the voicing tab. It's 2 voices, mono rotate, trigger set on always. In the oscillator tab, we have restart via gate, and our glide is turned all the way down. So now let's look at our oscillator. It is a square saw. Wavetable positions in the middle. We've got an envelope 1 on oscillator 1 pitch. So that's separate from, it's got a slightly different shape. So it's enveloping the pitch by an octave. So it's got like that kind of, sounds like a Furby singing or something. It goes up in pitch. And then the release of this is much longer, so that it starts to drop, but the envelope for the amp is tighter, so it's going to cut it out and not play all the way through. We're just going to get a little bit of that drop before the sound cuts out, because if we look at our routing, envelope 4 is on the amp mod and the bypass mod, so that means envelope 4 is affecting the amp pretty much at the end of the chain. The only thing that comes after the amp is effects, and then it goes out through the master. So envelope 1 is basically at the very beginning. It's affecting the beginning, the pitch of oscillator 1. So if the release is longer and the pitch drops down with that release, but the release of the amp is tighter, it's going to cut it out essentially. Just trying to get into a little bit more of the advanced concepts of massive, and kind of sort of, if you don't know much about it, bring you up to speed on it. If it feels like I'm dropping you in the deep end, I'm sorry. So yeah, so envelope 1 affecting the pitch of oscillator 1, which gives us that pitchy sound. So oscillator 1 is going up into filter 1. I've got a low pass, resonance is all the way down, and the cutoff is dropped just ever so slightly from the middle. Then I've got a reverb, mostly dry, just in the background. These are the settings. Yeah, it's a really simple sound. And then I cut out the lows, because there was some lows in the reverb of massive, so I put this EQ on there and cut out the lows. So yeah. Now moving into the verse part. So let's look at this bass here. Let me just name this one right here melody bed high, because it goes up to that high part. This right here is our 808 bass, custom made. Let's take a look at it. Oh wait, did I click on the wrong thing? What's this? Oh, this is the, oh, I'm sorry, this is, yeah, okay. This is the lead. and this is the bass. Okay. Peep the bass. First thing I look at is the envelope. I've taken out the attack, inverted the decay. It's pretty tight. It's got a nice long release. It's set to gate. Voicing tab, 3 voices, mono, rotate, always. Oscillator tab, restart via gate, glide is all the way down. So yeah, so that's the envelope, the voicing, oscillator. Look at the oscillator. We've got a sine square wave with, it's mostly sine. We've got a little bit of square introduced into the mix. We also have oscillator 2 on, it's drive 1, wavetable positions in the middle. Then we've got our daft filter. So both of these are set to filter 1. Mix 1's up all the way. We don't really need that in there. So we're just using filter 1. Then we've got envelope 1 assigned to the pitch of each of these oscillators, up by 36 semitones or 3 octaves. Envelope 1 is also on the cutoff and the resonance, which gives it that punchy kick kind of sound. So most of the highs are cut out. We're getting mid and lows. This part right here is just the kick. The bass tone is anything from here and below. Oh yeah, there's feedback. Feedback as well. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. Envelope, voicing, oscillator, 2 oscillators. The drive just adds a little bit of the grit to the sine wave. Envelope 1 is on each of these pitches and on the daft filter that we have set up, and we've got a little bit of feedback. So that's just a super low hitting bass. So the next part would be, this is our hi-hat. So this is just a normal 808 hi-hat, but I turned on a filter. It's a bandpass filter, and I have it at 2.14 right there. A little bit of resonance. It's kind of matched up to the bass as far as amplitude goes. It's panned to the left. Let's take a look at our snare. It's an 808 snare. It's got the lows rolled out, the mids are punched up, the highs are boosted a little bit. Then I've got this supercharger GT on there. Pretty saturated. Only a little bit of compression going on, not pushing past -4 gain reductions, more like a -1 or something like that. Character boosted the output. Could even fuck with it a little bit. Oh yeah, I transposed it up 1. Maybe we can drop it down. just a super tight, nothing super special. But I definitely, um, it's not your normal run of the 808. It's kind of downgraded, um, and just took that 808 snare sound and sort of warped it and made it into a different sound. I don't know. I think it fits into the overall thing pretty good, even though it's pretty lo-fi. So yeah, and then the lead. This is the lead. It's basically the same synth as these two melody beds. They could all be leads really, but I think of these two more of as like the bed melody, and then this is like an octave up and kind of harmonizing with this one. So yeah, it's the same thing, but I kind of changed the shape a little bit, um, the shape of the envelope, and made it a little bit of a longer envelope on the amplitude, the overall amplitude of the sound, which makes it kind of more long and drawn out, I guess. Um, so yeah, that's basically how I arranged this song, all the different sounds and how I arranged them. Um, yeah, but there's variations on this arrangement. Before I finish up here, there's different variations. You could have a longer intro, longer verse with like lots of different parts. You know, um, different things like switch up each one, make it different with like a different sound or something like that. Add more interest to the breakdown. Um, turn it into more of a bridge. Like switch up the whole fucking track, and then run on that tangent for the rest of it and have it be completely different from the beginning. Or you could do something that's more like this, but then instead of a third verse, put two choruses that repeat. So it's like before the end of the song, they get the main hook a couple times before you outro. Um, yeah, there's lots of different variations on what you can do. There's no just one way to do it, but this is sort of like a little model that can be the different modular parts of it can be moved around and changed depending on the music that you're making and the particular track that you're making. Yeah. So I'm gonna wrap up. I got work to do. Yeah. Hope you learned something. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Take care of yourself. Peace.